Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland, with me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. What do you do if you hate your bridesmaid's dress? It's a tricky one, but if that's you, you're in the right place. And if you're a bride and you want to make sure this doesn't happen, you're also in the right place. So listen right to the end, because I'm going to share some expert tips for what you can do as a bride to make sure that your bridesmaids actually love the dress that you choose. My name is Kelly and I'm the host of the Wedding Wednesdays podcast. Today, we're talking about this awkward topic: what to do if you hate your bridesmaid's dress. Okay, first up, it's usually the bride that chooses what everyone's going to wear. And what the bride often keeps in mind is the theme, it's the colors, and usually her own style. So first, as a bridesmaid, just remember that the point of the bridesmaid's dress is usually not to highlight you. Let's get that out the way. Then, brides also try their best to go out of their way to pick a dress that is flattering for everyone, that they think you will love, but sometimes the style just doesn't match up with yours, and you end up just hating the dress. And sometimes the dress is just completely unwearable. So, here's what to do. If you hate your dress, I'm going to walk you through 4 options of some things you can do. And then I'm going to end with some expert tips for brides on what you can do right now to make sure that you get your bridesmaids involved in the decision-making process, and how you can pick something that everyone's going to love. So bridesmaids, if you hate your dress, here are your options. Option 1, smile and wear the dress. Simple. You have to remember that the day is not about you. The dress also kind of isn't really about you either. And that whole bridesmaids hating their dress is a bit of a rom-com trope. It's a thing that's been overdone. We've seen it a lot. And if you get a dress that you just don't like and it's a style thing, sometimes you just need to grin and bear it. You've just got to wear the dress. You've got to remember that the day is not about you. Someone else has picked the dress. Usually they've paid for it, and we'll discuss what to do if not. So sometimes you just have to wear it and just be okay with it. We've all been there. I've been there. Option number 2, remember why you're there. Now, the whole reason that you're even in this predicament is because one of your close friends has asked you to be with her on her wedding day, to celebrate with you, to have you there in the engagement process, planning the wedding, having your support, but then also to have you up there with her, standing as she exchanges vows with her partner. So if you consider, in the grand scheme of things, wearing a dress that you're not in love with, is that as important as the friendship and honoring that person who's invited you into this really special and sacred moment? So refocus your energy. Instead of thinking about the dress, instead of worrying about it, instead of thinking, are people going to think I look bad? They probably won't. Refocus your energy into making this an amazing day for your friend. Option number 3, consider your accessories. Now remember, your bridesmaid's look isn't made up entirely of just the dress. You've got your hairstyle, you've got your makeup, you've got your accessories, your shoes, we've got the bag. There's so many other elements that piece together the look where you can personalize things a little bit. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you are consulting the bride. You want to make sure that she's happy with anything that you might do that customizes the look. But it could be things like, the earrings that you choose could be a little bit more your style. Maybe it's the way that the makeup is done, or the color of the lipstick. It could be the hairstyle, or if there's a hair piece, or your choice of shoes. And there's so many different ways that you can make the look feel more like you while still respecting the theme of the wedding and the aesthetic that the bride is going for. So always include the bride in those conversations and don't just show up with bright red lipstick, because that might not be in the right tone of the wedding. And then finally, your fourth option is you could talk to the bride about how you feel. Now, before I even present this as an option, I want to stress that this is really only an option if you have a valid reason for not being able to wear the dress. So if you simply hate the style, unfortunately, I don't think this is an option for you. But if the dress is really expensive and you just can't afford to buy it and you're being asked to pay for it, or if it fits really badly or not at all, then you have a reason to go to the bride and have a conversation. Now, you have to remember that this could be a sensitive topic. You know, this friend of yours is making hundreds and hundreds of wedding decisions, and so the last thing she needs is for somebody to be moaning about the dress. But if it doesn't fit you or you can't afford it, you can have a conversation where you could go to her and say, do we have any flexibility with the dress choice? I think if you are going to have this conversation, to go to the bride and say, I hate the dress, pick another one. That's just not cool. So don't do that. But to have an open conversation where you're really kind and gentle and you just say, thank you so much for including me in this moment. I can't wait to celebrate with you. Do you mind if we chat about the dress? I wondered if there's some flexibility with the dress choice. And then explain honestly and openly and kindly what the problem is. Now, you don't want to diss the dress, but you want to explain why you would rather wear something else. And you could come with some options. You could say, you know, for example, if you had to say, the dress that you've chosen is really amazing and I love it, but it's outside of my budget. I found these options that are in the same color, same aesthetic, but they're on special, or they're just much more within my price range. And then suggest your options. And if the bride suggests something else that you could wear and you don't like that one either, unfortunately, let it go and just wear the flippin' dress, okay? So bridesmaids, those are your four options. You can smile and wear the dress. You can remember why you're there. Remember the priorities. You can think about your accessories and find ways to customize them. And then if the dress doesn't fit you, or if it's really, really expensive, talk to the bride about how you feel. But don't forget to be honest, be gentle, and be kind. Now, brides, if you're listening to this thinking, oh my gosh, are my bridesmaids going to hate the dress that I've picked? Here are a couple of things that you can do to make sure that this doesn't happen and you don't have this awkward scenario. Choose a dress that you know will flatter everybody. So if you have bridesmaids that are different heights and sizes, which is totally normal because women look different, you might want to pick a dress that will fit different aesthetics and different body types. So things like a multi-way dress means that each bridesmaid could customize the dress to fit her really well and to accentuate her best features. You could consider all budget types as well. So this is if you don't plan to pay for the dresses in full. So if you are asking the bridesmaids to pay for half or a portion of the dress or the whole thing, you need to consider all budget types. So you have to remember that bridesmaids are paying for lots of other things for your wedding. You know, there's the gift, there's the hen party, there's so many other things that are happening behind the scenes that they are paying for that you might not be aware of. The other thing to consider is that your wedding might be the biggest thing in your world for this period of time, but your bridesmaids have other priorities, financial priorities. They may be bridesmaids in other weddings. They may be planning their own wedding. They may have just other financial commitments. And so you could say, but it's only this amount of money. But in the grand scheme of things, sometimes just that amount of money is actually a lot for somebody. So pick something that is considerate of all budget types. And if you've got a figure in mind and you're not sure, lower that figure. You could even just ask your bridesmaids and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Does this fit into your budget? And then here's another one. Get their opinions. So you could have a few dress options and you could say, hey guys, this is what I'm thinking. I've got 3 dress options or 4 dress options. They all fit with the color scheme of the wedding, with the overall aesthetic that we're going for. Give me your honest feedback. What do you think? I recommend doing this as a one-on-one conversation because if one person says, I love it, the next person might not feel like they can hop into a group chat and say, oh, well, I actually hate it. And if one person says they hate it, then the other people might feel awkward saying, no, but they actually really like it. So just do it one-on-one, send an individual message and say, these are the dress choices. What do you think? get their honest feedback. And this is another option for you. This is what I did with my bridesmaids, which is to get them to choose their own dresses. So within this idea, you've got a few options. You could say to the bridesmaids, I'm going to pay for half, then you pay for half. These are the styles that we're going for. Choose what you like. You could get them all to wear the same color by the same designer, in the same line, but they all pick a different option. So I've been a bridesmaid where that's happened before, where it was the same type of dress, but I think it was the top was the same, the bottom was different, or the other way around. Bottom was the same, top half was different, and we each picked a different style. The other option is within this to just give them a color palette and say anything within this. So you could say anything that is light pink, as long as the colors look good together and as long as you are happy, pick your own dress. And then most bridesmaids would be happy to pay for their own dress if they get to choose it, knowing that it's not the same as, 7 other people. And they can then wear the dress to something else afterwards. So always remember this. Friendship wins over the wedding day aesthetic. And so if you can make the girls feel comfortable and happy, go for it. And equally, bridesmaids, friendship is important. And so if it means you need to grin and bear it and just wear a dress that you don't love, do it. Well, thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.